Hello from Hong Kong. At this moment, it's an exceptionally chilly morning here. We just managed to survive something like a freezing temperature. And with me here is my good friend. I met some years ago, and I'm so happy to have Daniel with us this morning. Good evening, Daniel.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I am so honored. I'm thrilled
Wow.
for all our friends that are watching us now and all the people from all over the world. I want to tell you that you are for me an example. When I spoke with Ho Fan and we discussed for this meeting, live meeting, I was really thrilled. Thank you very much, and very happy to see you. You are unchanged, forever young.
Daniel, I should be the one saying thank you. Thank you for transforming the life of my daughter, Ho Fan. Well, you know, before she met you, she was a kind of a lonely soul to me. Okay. She was looking for something useful in life. As a dad, that was my judgment. Okay. And now, since she met you, and, you know, work for you while you were in Hong Kong, she became a very different soul. So now I think she has her directions. She has her satisfactions in, doing art imagery and whatnot. So I should be the one saying thank you. And I just went over what we talked about 6 years ago. And well, curiously, I was about to ask the same questions in your presence, starting with my classical question. I do this for every honored guest I meet, and that is, why are you doing what you are doing? Daniel.
This is a very good question and very hard question, because I think a lot of time we really don't know why we are doing what we are doing. At the beginning, when I was a child, I was praying and meditating because I wanted to connect with others. That was my main purpose. I really wanted to connect my heart, my mind with other people, and to understand the world. But when I got older and older and older and older, I'm doing what I'm doing. The first and the main reason is to state of being with God, or a state of illumination or transformation. That's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. So, and a lot of people might think I'm selfish because the classical answer would be, I want to change the world. But I arrive at this conclusion that if I don't manage to change myself, to be at that state, to clean my soul and to have a clean heart, I don't have any chance to help or support other people. So yeah, it's a long journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly the question I ask every one of my clients. You see, since we last met a few years ago, more and more people came to me in desperation. You know, their life was, well, kind of meaningless. They lost their directions. And I keep asking this question, would there be a difference in this world if you were here or not here tomorrow? So I would like to address this to you. Would there be, what's the difference tomorrow in our world without Daniel?
That's a very hard question, because
You said you want to change the world.
you want first to be the same person, in a sense that I would love how I was yesterday to be tomorrow. I have a friend, a student, and he attended my first workshop. I think it was in 1992 or 1993. So we are talking about a healthy 30 years. And he was at that time 12 or 14. He was young. And one of the things he told me a couple of weeks ago, imagine now he is 40, 30 plus 12, he is 44, right? And he was telling me, what I love of what you are doing, you are answering me in the same way. You didn't change. And he followed my books. I wrote books, and he said, I saw you at United Nations Invited. I saw you doing workshop with hundreds and thousands of people. And he said, you are answering me in the same way. And that filled my heart with happiness, because he said, you didn't lose your mind. You know, sometimes, as you said, you know, you have talks, you have friends, you have followers, you have YouTube, you have all these things. And there is a big risk, because your ego is pumped up more and more. So the risk is to literally lose your mind. You start to believe you are something that you are not. So I think I would love to be the same humble person, how I was years ago, tomorrow. So I don't change from this perspective. From the perspective of spiritual life, I would love to be different, to be more open, with a clean soul, a clean heart, and to help as much as I can help with the energy as I have now. So
Daniel, catching up with your life journey, as I understand it, you went through some kind of a transformation in the past few years by spending time with the Orthodox Church people. I understand that you started your journey somewhere in Tibet. And now you turn to kind of Eastern Europe. What happened? Are you a Christian in a sense we understand it?
I was born Orthodox because I was born in Romania. So I was, since I was born, baptized Orthodox. My grandfather, he was a big heart Orthodox man, that he all his life, more than 90 years, he really dedicated to helping people, and he was in the church and with monks. 1990s, I was going to monasteries a lot, praying and meditating. Then I really want to go to see everything that is on this world. Tibetan temples, the shamans in North and South America, Australia, the indigenous New Zealand. We've done all we've done. I even went to the shamans in Siberia, in Russia there. I really wanted to understand how these people they connect with God, how they open their hearts. And that's the reason, actually, one of the book, because we mentioned journeys into the heart, right? It is actually the experience of how you go into the heart from different traditions, right? However, the Orthodox tradition has something from my perspective, unique, so-called the prayer of the heart, which basically you invite in your heart the universe, God, the infinite, right? While the other tradition, you try to ascend. So why I love so much the Orthodoxy, because you invite in a clean heart, in a clean temple, this temple, you invite the universe, right? You invite God, and that's very important, I think.
I see. Well, talking about our world, I remember some 25 years ago, I think we were very hopeful at the turn of the millennium. We thought there will be a brave new world and everything is changing for the better. It's a new age dawning. And, we were looking forward to all kinds of green transformation. But then things happened in the past 2 decades, and everything seems to be collapsing. Particularly in Hong Kong, people were quite despair. We lost our direction. People here couldn't think of a way out. I remember in our last conversation 6 years ago, I mentioned this motto of mine: pessimism is a luxury we can't afford. But where's hope? Well, according to you, what is the way out?
One of the things that strike me when I visited Hong Kong first time, because I went there many times, but first time when I got there, I found this big noise, like you couldn't find stillness in a way. And I remember I was walking on the streets from the hotel there. It was this big park, beautiful park. And I was sitting on this bench and I was thinking how these people here, they find stillness in such a big, noisy, busy city like Hong Kong, and not just Hong Kong. It happened to me in New York. It happened to me in Tokyo, in Moscow, not to mention Beijing and Shanghai, which are next level. So I would say this is a very important question. How can we balance the enthusiasm of living with our family and friends in these big cities or places? How can we balance this intense energy around us with, let's say, science of stillness? Because today, a lot of my friends, they said the world is getting crazy, right? You can't stop. It takes you faster and faster and faster and faster. And I really believe the stillness comes from inside. That would be the first thing, right? We do appreciate a quiet place where we can read and pray and meditate in stillness. But because you spoke about Orthodoxy, there is this great saint, Saint John Climacus. He said, the beginning of stillness, of peace, is to avoid all noise. But the end of stillness and peace is to remain insensible to all noise. So the main question is, how can we move to stillness in these big places, in this big world? And I believe the answer is coming. First, we don't understand the stillness. One is internal, that comes from prayer, meditation, purification of the heart. And the other one is external. And I believe today a lot of people in spiritual life, and not just spiritual life, they confuse the internal peace and stillness with external. We think if we go to, I don't know, Tibet, it's quiet, it's mountain, or to Himalaya, or I remember that beautiful temple you have in Hong Kong, that beautiful place. It's very close to your place. Ho Fan brought me there a couple of times. Beautiful place. But that's not enough. Because you mentioned Orthodoxy, I went to Mount Athos. That's considered the holy mountain a couple of times. But if you do not do something inside, you are just a tourist. So the answer should be, we really have to patiently work the internal stillness. That's the answer at this completely, I would say, unstoppable world that is moving with so high speed. All this artificial intelligence, AI, everything now is coming so handy. Like you don't need to do anything. You just need to take it. But in fact, I think it's a trap. We are getting lost in this speed and in this big noise, and we forget about internal stillness, right? That you don't need AI, you don't need anything except to go inside and to be quiet there, and to, I would say, to nurture, to learn internal stillness. And then you can walk in Hong Kong or in New York, and once you find the internal stillness, I think it's much easier. This hard life.
Well, now is the time for you to tell us about how to go inside. Your book is called Journey into the Heart. What is the heart? How to be, start this journey and reach our deepest part inside?
It's another very good question, because I think today there are two big different opposite states. One is a state of material world that keeps you completely outside. And the other one, when you completely give up everything and you try to go into the heart. But I believe the best journey to go into the heart is to find this inner peace that you can be outside and work, and at the same time to be inside, right? I remember this story of the man who tried to meditate, and he was bothered by a small mouse who was chewing a biscuit. And he told to the mouse, "I'm trying to be with God. Stop doing this noise." And the small mouse looked at him and he said, "How can you be with God when you can't be with me, a small mouse?" So to go into the heart first, we have to learn to live with what's going on around us. Because going to the heart is not this difficult process. You have to go somewhere. You really have to be able to do it when you go make shopping in a big supermarket. And it's coming through different methods. Breathing. This is one method. And it's maybe the easiest one because it's very easy to breathe into the heart because you are used to breathe into your lungs. So it's very easy to channel your energy in your heart when you inhale. This is I would say, the easiest method. Then there is another easy method that we are using in imagery. You effectively move your attention on a staircase and you go down, you open the door of the heart and you step inside of the heart. This is a feminine method. Not easy for us, for me and for you, Simon. for us might be difficult, but for Hofan, to go into the heart using imagery, I think is very easy.
Well, actually, Hofan practiced this in front of my classes times and again, and I found it very interesting. Since we are not in a rush, would you mind spending a few minutes demonstrating? So we follow you and we go into our hearts. You know, it's easier said than done, but well, why don't we try?
We should try it. So, we just close our eyes. So for all of you who are watching us now, or you are going to see it later, just close your eyes. And what I like to do when I close my eyes, right after that, I just try to have a good posture, which means a little bit. If you need to correct your back, your spine, straight spine, but relax, which means you let your shoulder to relax. And you leave your hands to stay relaxed on your knees there. This is so-called the king or pharaoh posture. So basically your body is relaxed, but in a very good position for meditation, for an exercise, right? Then completely relaxed, but in the same time vigilant, you put your attention in the middle of your brain. It's easy because I would say 99% of our time, we are there, in the middle of the brain, and you see or sense or feel a staircase, a simple staircase, like a spiral, going down from the middle of the brain all the way down in the middle of your chest, near your heart. And with your intention, you keep your attention there, but use your intention to start moving down using this staircase. And you go down slowly. Move your attention down, past your eyes level, go down nose level, go down mouth level, go down. You are going through your throat all the way down to your chest area. And there in the middle of the chest area, to your left, there is a door. The door that goes to your heart. You open that door and you step inside of your heart. Confident you are in your heart, close the door behind you. For a couple of moments, you see, sense, and feel this good energy, pure energy. You understand the inner peace, what it means now. Because you might be in a place where it's busy or noise, but now in your heart, you found that inner peace. And once you are there, you see, sense, and feel yourself, like a hologram in front of you. And you will see some areas that are more colored than other areas, maybe darker color. And you know, maybe you need to do a healing to that area. So focus to that image of yourself, that hologram, that you in your heart, with your intention, clean these areas where maybe you have a small problem, a small issue. You can use the light. You can use water, clean water, like a spring water. You put in these areas until the area is clean. You can use a specific color that you like. After you do this healing at these areas, inhale in your heart again. Exhale. Gently open your eyes. In the classic imagery, we start the exercise. We inhale 3 times, very short through your nostril, but long and slow through your mouth. So basically, especially for beginners, it's good to do this exercise so you get in that state, that position, to go in your heart easy. So this is the imagery method. So I said to, like a bonus, to give also a small healing session. So if you, after this exercise, because you use yourself for healing, it's good to little bit move your body. So the energy that you put it, like I for example, I've done some exercises at the gym, and my right shoulder a little bit. So now I can feel it's gone, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just shaking a little bit my shoulders, so I can feel the effect of the healing. In imagery is a very powerful healing process. It's working for the past problems, for the emotional things, and also for, I would say, traumas that remain from years. So it's a very good spiritual practice. I strongly encourage all of you to practice imagery.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel. That was a heart-touching exercise. Well, there's a pun here, heart-touching. Well, I was in your class some 6 or 7 years ago, and I would love to hear from you. Are you doing the same thing to your classes now? Well, if we join your class now, what do you do to us?
One of the things I've done, and I'm talking about more than 30 years when I start teaching, that time, imagery was one single big thing. We're talking about, like, it was like 5-6 days. So I don't believe the people were prepared to have this huge unionized transformative journey. So we adapted, splitting in 3, we call the imagery masters, 3 different, all of them important. One is cleaning the past, self-renewal. One is healing and emotional clarity. The other one, union with divinity, with universe, right? So what began as a singular workshop evolved in 3 distinct but interconnected workshops. Now the evolution marks this change, right? So we we have to adapt to this speed of the world. So we navigate to this profound transformation. So also the imagery, heart imagery, aligns with our consciousness. So we have coming up, and especially the Hong Kong team, they are experts in imagery. I'm sure they will appreciate this synthesis. It's a heart imagery synthesis. We have fresh methodology. We are transforming the original approach into a new paradigm. And that won't change the heart imagery. Heart imagery is remain the universal language of the soul, right? And that it remains. It guides us towards understanding our deepest selves, higher self, and it's the same immersive experience. However, I believe it's more powerful. We've done actually a very short sample with the Hong Kong team, and the effect was very powerful. So I'm expecting a very, very good workshop.
That is taking place next month, 3 weeks from now. And
yeah, correct. Yeah.
We do have a link here. People are interested can register there. Well, actually, one book by Daniel is now available in Chinese. Thanks to our friends on the mainland. And now we have this book. And if you would like to read more about Daniel's work, these are the works. And Daniel, I would like to, since you mentioned Hong Kong, I remember last time when we had our dialogue, you said that Hong Kong, well, and in particular, and China in general, is going to play a big role in transforming our global culture, something like that. Because spirituality, things are happening in this part of the world. I think now we are different in the sense that the government, the regime in China is becoming, more and more stronger, and we are under tighter and tighter control in terms of practicing religion and spirituality. And how do you see Hong Kong and China now in this respect?
It is interesting because as I've seen the history, spiritual history, always it happened exactly like that. So it goes to this process, right? On one side, there is a small team that is trying to keep people, to suppress them, and they don't let them to find themselves. On another, exactly opposite, there is a huge mass that, and I see that happening in Hong Kong and China in the last couple of years, that they are looking for awareness, finding meaning, right? Deeper meaning and purpose of our existence. And where you can find this more than China and Hong Kong, right? Where how much, let's say, material things you need and how much science you need. I think from this perspective, China and Hong Kong are much, much more developed than Canada, USA, all these countries. Because the materialistic things are so strong that people are forced to find meaning, right? here we are relaxed. We have what we want. You don't look so much for spirituality. That's the reason I said a couple of years ago, this so-called emotional things. I remember we had a workshop, Hofan remembers when there were hundreds of thousands of people down demonstrating with umbrellas. It was something very, very, I look on the window and I saw this river of people, alive people, right? Which means that people are looking for stability, for direction, for in spiritual things, regardless of circumstances, right? And I think if you do not have this boiling point, like what's happening in China and Hong Kong, people can stay for thousands of years in this state, all good, food, cars, houses. We don't need anything else. And I believe people don't understand. We are really temporary, fleeting. Human life on Earth is just a dream, right? So we really have to think deeper meanings, purpose of our existence, right? And here, I believe emotionally and spiritually, China, Hong Kong, they are ready, right? They manage to foster this resilience and they cultivate this inner strength much more than other places on the world, right? So, yeah, I'm still very positive.
I remember
about the
I remember saying, whatever don't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
I can see two worlds in terms of Christianity these days. While on the one, 30 years ago, exactly 30 years ago, a good friend of mine, a Catholic priest, started a movement in Hong Kong with the permission of the bishop. That was under British rule those days. And he started forming Christian cell groups. Cell groups meaning without going to churches, they do mass in individual homes. Now that's exactly what's happening in China now. There are 2 Catholic churches in China these days, while in Europe the churches are quite empty every Sunday. In China, it's a different picture. I visited both churches. One is underground and one is open. You see, the Chinese government is appointing their own bishops. And that is the open church. They are trying to make deals with the Vatican. And on the other hand, more and more of those families, devoted families, are going underground. And they have their own priests. Another system of things happening, working. I mentioned this to ask you, what do you think about your work in China in view of such a situation? You see, the Chinese government are tearing down crucifix, closing down churches, and they're replacing crosses in the church with, portraits of their leader. And many Zen masters have to flee, and they're now in Hong Kong. And
it happens the same thing in Romania. Exactly, I would say copy paste. It is not going to one day. This is a ticking thing that is going one day to make boom. This is I think it's a big risk that anybody in the power takes, because playing with the people's faith and what is in their hearts, I saw a lot of people suffering martyrs in the name of God, in the name of their faith. So a lot of people really don't care if we are going to die or we are going to suffer, or for just to help other people. And I think that's going to be, because I saw it in a much smaller scale. Romania is a very small country compared, of course, with China. We can't compare any other country, actually. So it's impossible. But what's happening, as above, so below. What is happening up is happening at the small. What is happening up in the galaxy is happening in a small place, in a small leaf. And I believe that's not going to work much. This is how I see it.
Daniel, I would like to ask you this question. Why are we as, well, humanity not learning from the past, from history? Now you see bombs are killing people every day now in the Middle East. And, as you mentioned, prosecuting religious groups are repeating itself. Why can't we get out of this kind of a circle? Why are we not advancing towards, a more free and enlightened future?
First, there is a lack of meaning and purpose. We live in a world where materialism, consumerism, and individualism are emphasized. So many people are disconnected. So I think the purpose of a lot of leaders today is to disconnect me from you, right? So what is happening is the world got to these feelings of emptiness, spiritual dissatisfaction, right? And I think that's one of the main reasons. Then, although the technology and social media is helping a lot, and this is a demonstration, right? We are here and we are using technology. However, it might be a source of distraction and disconnection. Many people spend more time on their phones or computers than engaging in these interactions face to face. You get to this stage when you are completely isolated, disconnected, right? So I encourage people to have meaningful interaction, meaningful meetings, right? Another thing, I think there is a lack of guidance, a lack of support, right? Many people, I think, they go in this trap to try to find somebody, and because there is no experience for teachers, I see a lot of teachers that they just take over from other teachers and they try to make something, but without experience. Anybody can read my book, but if you don't practice, you can't give any. So this lack of guidance and lack of support is really characteristic. We do not have some spiritual leaders that on Mount Athos, we call them elders. So we are missing these elders to guide us because they have a life of experience. They have they know. So this is a very, very heartbreaking thing that is happening, right? So there are many reasons. I just said a couple of them, right? So there are many reasons. However, I will bring some solutions because I said something. Let's say something that some reason why so many people feel lost in today's world spiritually. But I will give also some good news, some possible solutions, so people don't leave this meeting with a heavy heart. So, number one, connect with others, right? Building connections with people that you love and you know they are good. It can bring something greater than us, right? Spiritual community, group meditation, prayer, even voluntary work, or so connect with others. This is very important. That will be a solution. Practice mindfulness, self-reflection, meditation, prayer. This is very, very important, right? Explore different spiritual traditions. And from time to time, you really have to disconnect from anything that you do and to start something new. Maybe you need to stop what you are doing. Maybe you are running too much from years and years. Maybe you need that stop sign. You know, when you drive, you have the stop sign. Just stop and try to find something. Maybe it's not working. Maybe you are in this vortex, this trap from years and years and years. So whoever is watching us now and you feel that, it's time to stop. Try something else.
Well, Daniel, before we let you go, I would like to hear your opinion on this. I now can see two different scenarios. Let's say scenario A, and that is just you mentioned history is repeating itself. There will be persecution, there will be wars, there will be all kinds of sufferings till the end of time. Or scenario B, as I envisioned 25 years ago, you know, we are venturing into a bright new world where there will be less and less war, less and less conflicts. People will practice love and peace and so on. And this is the dawn of something unimagined before. Now, that's scenario B. Is there another scenario? Or is it bad news is good news? Scenario A is what we need to advance spiritually.
I would say the third scenario would be to seizing the present moment. Because we live in regretting the past, or we are actually anticipating the future. And that detracts us from our experience from now. So whoever is watching now, you should just listen to what we are talking, right? Because usually we are thinking what I'm going to do after that, right? So we have probably the third way is to immerse ourselves in here and now. That's the title of my first book. This now is eternity, here and now, right? The Tibetan exercises. So I believe we can savor, we can enjoy the taste of life and the joy of life, and we can find solace in face of adversity. Speaking about Hong Kong and China, if we understand the present moment is the only moment we truly possess. And by embracing it, basically, we unlock this profound sense of fulfillment and purpose, right? So I believe, and this is of course, it's not an easy way.
No.
But if we try at least to forget about that past that happened and we regret, and don't try to anticipate the future too much, I think suddenly we might find ourselves in this moment, this spark of energy, like boom, like we see, sense, and feel beyond time. Because That's our problem. We are fighting with time, past and future. But I think if we at least try to find this moment now, we might be surprised by what beautiful sense of gratitude and happiness, purpose, live with intention, love, we're going to get.
Daniel, I did not expect you to sum up something I keep reminding my class. And there's one word which I'm not sure if you're familiar or heard of before. And I keep telling my class there's such a thing as now ever. N-O-W-E-V-E-R. Now forever. I think that's from Alan Watts, the philosopher last generation. Now ever is exactly what you said, you know, at peace with whatever happening around us. And it so happened that traditionally, we in China have one image, and in Cantonese is 十字街頭好參善. It is good to practice Zen in the crossroads, in the noisy streets, you know, as a good opportunity to do your spiritual practicing. I think that's a marvelous way to sum up what you said in the past hour. Would you have anything more to tell our people around the world?
I think just try to be in your heart. Try to be in your heart. And as you said, Zen of the crossroad, that's a very good example. And I think if we do that, we really found, I think a lot of people lost this sense of gratitude. Because we don't live in the present, we don't realize when we wake up in the morning, it's a really gift. I keep saying, I saw this study made by Harvard, and these guys, they said, I was shocked, 95% of the people, they die when they sleep. I was thinking, whenever I wake up in the morning, I'm really, really grateful for this moment, present moment, right? I'm just enjoying life. So this, you have to live with this intention, with purpose and profound sense of gratitude. And I think we will get much more from the life. Thank you.
Daniel, thank you again. Well, we must talk more often across the Pacific. Come over to Shanghai, to Hong Kong as early as you can. Keep in touch.
Thank you, Simon.
And have a good time in Vancouver. Thank you.
Thank you. And many blessings to all of you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.